G'day everyone, I'm here to talk about the pros and cons of a DJI Spark drone. Now I've had this drone for about 6 months and I can actually give you my honest opinion of what I think of the drone, the good points and the bad points. Now to start off, we'll start off with the good points. The first thing I liked about this drone is it doesn't have any foldable arms, so it's actually very sturdy. So if it does have a slight bingle or hit the ground or crash into a tree, it would actually need a fairly big whack for these legs to break. Obviously they're not unbreakable, but it's actually quite sturdy. It's small and it's portable. As you can see, it's not much bigger than my hand, and it's actually great for traveling, and it's fantastic size-wise. I like the foldable props, which actually make it a lot easier to store in its box. As you can see, the little propellers, they just fold, so that is a bonus as well. It is a great beginner's drone, so they're very easy to fly, and straight out of the box you get great video, great photos, and the quality of the video and the photos is spot on, and the color as well, so you don't really have to edit anything. The other thing that I do like is with the controller, as you can see here, it can actually fit an iPhone 8 Plus. Now, it can fit normal size phones like an iPhone 8 or 6 or what have you, but it's great that it can actually fit the plus size phones. That was a big issue for me, that I could actually fit the plus size iPhone. Obviously you can fit Android phones as well, but it does fit the larger phones, which is fantastic. Now the batteries are quite small and they don't take too long to charge, so that's also a good thing about it. And I've got 3 batteries. I've got 2 here and 1 in the drone. The other thing is DJI support and forums. If you ever need to ask a question, there's always someone there to give you an answer, and could be the silliest question, but people will help you out, and so you won't have to wait too long on an answer. Now the other thing is that DJI says that these drones can fly up to 2 kilometers, which is great. You don't want a drone that can only fly 50 meters and back, so the range on these is pretty good. Now I've never gone up to 2 kilometers myself, about 500 meters, and by law you're not allowed to fly more than away from line of sight, so you should be able to see it. Now on the bad side, the price of these things alone, without the Fly More combo in Australia, which is a controller, 1 battery, the drone, and pretty much that's it. So battery, drone, and the controller around $620. If you want the Fly More package, which is basically your controller, your batteries, your drone, your case, your bag here, all your charging bits and pieces, you're looking at about $800 to $850, give or take. Now, that gives you 1 battery in the drone and a spare one. Now, I ended up buying a 3rd battery on its own, which is about $75. So they're not overly expensive, but they're not cheap either. $75 in Australia. And the reason why I wanted 3, obviously more flying time, and the charging base that comes with the Fly More combo, the charging hub can actually charge 3 batteries. So I thought, have 3 batteries, and it's quite self-explanatory why I got 3. The other bad thing about the DJI Spark is the Wi-Fi connection. Because the drone itself communicates to the controller via Wi-Fi, it has its own frequency. Interference tends to mess the signal up sometimes. So it depends where you're flying. If you're flying near trees or large buildings or any power lines, you get interference, so that's the bad thing. It's not as stable as some of the larger drones that use OcuSync. So bear in mind, they do have issues occasionally. Not to say that they fall out of the sky and they fly off every time you fly them, but you just got to be careful. And to get around that, you need to just calibrate the compass and the IMU more often, and just be careful where you fly them. Don't fly them in built-up areas or somewhere where you might have some interference. Okay, the other bad thing about the Spark is the battery time. They only last me around 12 minutes. Now DJI say that they should last 16 minutes. Now, having flown this for around 6 months, from 100% battery level to 20%, because they say they should never drain it more than 20%, I get about 12 minutes. If I have the prop guards on, which I don't have here at the moment, the prop guards sit out there, and that reduces the flying time from about 12 minutes to 10 minutes, 9.5, 10 minutes. So from 3 batteries that I've got, I get about half an hour's worth of flying time, which isn't too bad, but it goes really quick, especially if you're flying further away and then the journey back. And so the time chews up really quick. The other bad thing that I don't like about the Spark is that it only has a 2-axis gimbal. Now, what that means is it's stable up and down, and then sort of turning that side, but left to right. So if you can imagine, it's actually good that way, but not great that way, because it's only two axes, the gimbal. So if they had 3-axis gimbal, this drone would have been great. Another issue that not an issue, but a bugbear that I don't really like with the Spark is that it doesn't shoot any other mode than 1080p at 30 frames per second. Now, that's great because most people would buy this. It would be a beginner's drone, so you don't have too many things to mess around with. So it's great for beginners, but after a while you want to shoot in different frame rates. You want to shoot in higher resolution, faster resolution, or do something else. And but unfortunately you can't, because there's no menu setting to change that. So you're limited to 1080p at 30 frames per second. Now, having said all that, I love the drone because it's small, it's portable. Would I buy one again? Probably not. I would actually buy the Mavic Pro or a Phantom. I know they're slightly larger. In fact, they're quite larger. But I would like the better flying time and the better range and obviously the better video, taking better video, better resolution, better frame rates, or different frame rates. I wouldn't say better, but whereas with the Spark, you're actually set to whatever it's set at, which is 1080p at 30, which is great for YouTube, great for Facebook. But if you wanted something on a more professional level, the Spark isn't for you. Now, as a beginner drone, I highly recommend it to learn on. They're great drones, but you just got to be careful that with Wi-Fi drones, because they communicate via Wi-Fi, a frequency, between the hand controller and the drone, that you need to be careful where you fly them and where you calibrate them. But having said that, they're great little drones. I would personally, if I had the time over, I would save a bit of money and get the Mavic Air, because it actually does all the different resolutions. But this drone is great because it's tiny. It is very small and great for travelers. So it depends what you want to do, what you want to film. But having said that, it's a great little drone, and I can't say anything really more about the drone. And I hope you enjoyed the video and the honest review. And I hope you like the video. Just click on the like underneath and subscribe to the channel, and enjoy your day. Thank you.